Alright, what's up guys? This is going to be a bit of a thought piece. This is not necessarily the most practical advice. In fact, this is stuff that speedcubers basically aren't doing at the moment beyond like a very select few cubers in like a very select few circumstances for these sorts of cases. This is more or less me applying roll and JOLL to things that aren't just the last layer, namely VLS, but also CLS and pretty much any algorithm set that is the last step before PLL, because it's a PLL predicting method. As such, you would be using it for the step that comes before PLL. Let's get it. So, starting off, we'll shove these aside for a moment. So this is a VLS case. We've got this F-12 pair going into here. These three corners, Niklas CP, and then these two edges opposite, so this is like JOLL V1 / JOLL V2, they're both flipped and they're also both opposite. You do that 6 move OLL into an F12 insert, so again, like that, and then you get the skip. And then you can apply roll and JOLL logic to the same thing, but I've scrambled the PLL as well. So you notice these two are now adjacent instead of opposite. That means you could hypothetically know from this point in VLS that you're going to get adjacently permuted edges, and because of the corners, you would also know that the corners are going to be adjacently permuted. If you were extra, like super extra, you could also note that the headlights will be on the left because this specific CP corresponds to headlights on left in this specific case. And obviously this is ridiculous because there's over 200 VLS cases, but this is something that is very, very possible, and I have done this to an extent from time to time with my VLS cases. It's not very often, it's just like random crap I've picked up over the years, which is, funnily enough, how I learned roll and JOLL to begin with. But anyways, so again, headlights on left, adjacently permuted edges and adjacent swap of corners, and ta-da, that's exactly what we got here. Let's try setting that up. So here we also have like the mirror case, so again, almost the same CP, except these are now the same color instead of opposite. So using roll style logic, just from understanding how like CP cases relate to each other, you could just very easily also associate this with being headlights on right without having to really learn much extra beyond all the stuff we already learned. So like the roll and JOLL logic stays pretty damn consistent is kind of the point I'm getting at here. Here's another case. So this is an example of slightly easier VLS case, so it's just M, insert the pair like that, and that's what it looks like when it PLL skips. We've got these two colors matching, and then these two colors matching, I guess, would be how we recognize it. And then we have like kind of a crappy JOLL V1 because these are adjacent colors, so ideally we'll be using JOLL V2 here and looking at these two, since they're opposite colors, so we could actually get info. And then take this case, and again, this is using very similar CP style logic. So in this case, we have like these two match and these two match. Here, these two are opposites and these two are opposites, which under conventional wisdom would correspond to a diagonal CP. Of course, because there's so many more corner orientations with VLS, there's all this extra recognition you have to learn, which is where it kind of becomes slightly unfeasible, but not impossible for every single case. But some cases are just more reasonable than others. And then using JOLL V2 recognition, we could see, you know, reference case has opposites, this has adjacent, therefore definitely an adjacent permutation of edges plus diagonal CP, so it has to be V perm or Y perm, and you can very easily deduce that from this position, and sure enough, that's what we get. Also, even going back to JOLL V1, even though like these are adjacent, this is much more reasonable recognition to see these two edges. And in a solve, it is also possible to get these as opposites. And obviously, when you're using JOLL V1, you're kind of, you know, putting it in God's hands, basically. But in this case, you do get the same amount of info with JOLL V1 and JOLL V2. For this specific case, at least. And like I alluded to in the beginning, this does not have to just apply to VLS. It's, again, any step that is the last step before PLL, you can take measures to reduce and predict your PLL case. So let's take this, well, this is the reference one, so this CLS case, yellow corner going there, one sticker corner, whatever there, it's just that. make the pair that. Looking at the corners, we could note these two the same, these two are opposites. And then, because all the edges are oriented, it's a little easier to do... Well, it's not so much that it's easier to do JOLL, it's just that you can't really do JOLL V1, you have to do JOLL V2 no matter what, but it's not so bad. You look at these two as your reference. And then we can take this case, which is again scrambled PLL, but we can deduce the PLL down to a select few cases just like we would during OLL, or just like we could during OLL. We can see that the CP is these two match, and then this one here, which corresponds to ADJ. I don't know where the headlights are going to be because, you know, I obviously haven't learnt this type of stuff. And then using the JOLL V2, these are adjacent, these are opposite, therefore adjacent permutation of edges, so it has to be J-perm, G-perm, or R-perm. And sure enough, that's exactly what we get. We get a G-perm. So basically the point of this video is roll and JOLL is more than just a OLL specific concept, although I think it is most useful for OLL. How much of this type of stuff is actually going to be worth it in the future? Pretty hard to say. I will say that I have used very small amounts of this type of stuff in my solves, but again, this is just stuff I've picked up naturally. I've not made an effort to learn and apply this to my VLS cases or my CLS cases, or even just random OLS cases. And obviously, like I said before, the CP recognition gets a lot harder because instead of there being 7 corner orientations, there's I think 27 or something. However many winter variation cases there are is that many. And it's a lot of new associations to learn. So take this with a grain of salt. It's just something that's possible. It's just some advanced speedcubing meta thought piece for you to devour and have fun with. Thanks for watching.